You think you know the classic fairy tales, right? But what if they weren't separate stories at all? What if they were all just fragments of a single shattered world? Today, we're diving into the Grimmverse, a reimagining where every character you know, from Cinderella to Red Riding Hood, is actually part of one epic, interconnected saga. So, right off the bat, the source material sets this incredible tone. It tells us this isn't a collection of stories, but a single woven tapestry. The idea is that every fairy tale we've ever heard is just one thread in a much grander story, a story that got tragically torn apart. And the whole point of this saga? To try and weave that tapestry back together.
And this is where the whole concept just clicks. See, the Grimmverse isn't about a bunch of isolated princesses and lonely heroes. It's about one world, one single kingdom that was fractured by one cataclysmic event. Every dark forest, every cursed castle, every wicked stepmother, they're all just symptoms of this one original wound.
Okay, so at the absolute heart of this universe is a concept called the spiral. You can think of it as the magical source code for reality itself. It's this ancient, powerful force that connects everything and everyone, all life, every story, the very fabric of fate. And as long as the spiral is stable, the world is in balance. But it doesn't stay stable. This is the moment it all goes wrong. Queen Aurelia, who was the living, human anchor for the spiral, dies. And without her, the magic literally shatters. It explodes into 10 curse threads that just shoot out across the land. And in all that chaos, the heir to this power, the tiny baby Rapunzel, is snatched away and hidden in a tower, supposedly for her own protection. This one single night sets every single tragedy in motion. Now, those scattered curse threads, they didn't just fizzle out. No, they went looking for people with vulnerabilities, grief, fear, envy. They latched onto them, twisting their lives into the dark fairy tales we kind of recognize. So our heroes aren't just unlucky, they are literally victims of this magical fallout. First up, we've got Cinderella. Her entire story is shaped by a curse thread of pure bitterness that has completely taken over her stepmother. The cruelty she's dealing with isn't just human pettiness. Oh no, it's a supernatural resentment that's feeding on her stepmother's deepest insecurities. And this line from her stepmother, wow, it is just brutal. It perfectly captures the targeted, venomous nature of the curse. It's designed to make Cinderella feel completely worthless, like she's a fundamental mistake in the fabric of her own family. Then we have Red. Her world is defined by a curse of fear, which has found the perfect host in the Wolf King. And let me tell you, this is not just some big bad wolf from a storybook. He's an ancient, intelligent predator who is the living embodiment of fear itself, and he absolutely thrives on it. Just listen to the Wolf King's philosophy here. I mean, that line makes him so much more terrifying than a simple monster. He sees fear as this fundamental, reliable force of nature, and he believes it's his job to deliver it. On time, every time. All right, next up are Hansel and Gretel, and they stumble into a totally different kind of horror. A curse, thread of insatiable hunger. This curse has created the gingerbread house and possessed the woman inside, turning what was once a place of healing into a terrifying trap. But here's the twist. The witch in the cottage, she says this absolutely heartbreaking line. It turns out she's not a villain at all. She's a healer who's been cursed, a victim, forced to be the bait for the house's supernatural hunger. She's been trapped in a living death for years. Meanwhile, back at the castle, Snow White's life is being twisted by a curse of envy. Now, this thread hasn't possessed the queen directly. Instead, it's infected her magic mirror, poisoning its reflections and whispering these awful insecurities into the queen's ear, trying to push her to see her own stepdaughter as a rival. And this is a massive turning point. In this incredible moment of defiance, the queen completely rejects the mirror's poison. Instead of going after Snow White, she chooses to shatter the mirror, and with it, the curse's influence, declaring that she will not destroy the young just to preserve her own sense of worth. It's an amazing moment. So all of these scattered, broken threads, they all lead us back to the center of the web, back to the girl who was hidden away on that terrible night, Rapunzel, the unwilling and, for now, unknowing anchor of the broken spiral. Stuck up in her lonely tower, something starts to happen to Rapunzel. Her power is starting to awaken. She starts hearing things, not just voices in her head, but the real emotional echoes of the other heroes. Through the invisible threads of the spiral, she can actually feel Cinderella's sorrow and Red's defiance. So what about Gothel, her supposed protector? Well, on the surface, she claims her goal is to keep Rapunzel safe from a dangerous world. But her true motivation, it's a deep, personal fear of being forgotten and replaced, the same fear that drove her when she was apprenticed to Rapunzel's mother. She's not just protecting Rapunzel, she's hoarding her. And we see Rapunzel's awakening happen in stages. First, she just feels the other's pain. Then, she starts to understand that it's all connected. And here's the crucial part. Every time one of the heroes, like the queen, defies their curse, Rapunzel's own power gets stronger. She finally starts to realize she's not a prisoner, she's the nexus point for this entire magical network. So what happens when these heroes, who are all alone in their own dark stories, start fighting back? Well, it turns out their individual acts of courage are not isolated at all. They are actively mending the spiral, and in doing so, they start pulling all the story threads together. And this is where it all really starts coming together. You see, each hero's defining choice directly fights their curse. Cinderella chooses her own heart over her stepmother's bitterness. The queen breaks the curse of envy by refusing to hate. Gretel offers a merciful sacrifice, and Red decides to hunt her fear instead of running from it. Every single one of these choices sends a healing pulse rippling through the spiral. And these pulses, they have a real physical effect. The heroes, guided by this mending magic, literally start to find each other out in the wilderness. The separate storylines begin to merge. Characters like Red and Cinderella actually meet for the very first time, and they start to realize they're not alone in this fight. And that right there kicks off the final act. The scattered heroes are no longer just surviving their own personal nightmares. They're becoming a fellowship. They now have a shared purpose and a clear, singular destination. They have to find the girl in the tower. This quote from the source material just perfectly captures the ultimate theme of the whole thing. The only way to fix a world that was broken by one person's absence is through the unexpected, improbable unity of all the people who were shattered by it. Their collective bravery is the key. So, we're left with this powerful, central question. The death of one single heartkeeper was enough to tear reality apart? Is the combined strength of a handful of cursed, traumatized, but defiant heroes going to be enough to mend it? That is the epic journey the Grimm universe sets in motion.